Well, howdy, everybody. Today, welcome to High and Empowered. This is our podcast for the people, for the companies, for the patients, for everybody. And today's topic, what we're talking about, incredibly important, incredibly for the, not just for the cannabis industry, I think more for also the community and the future of education in the cannabis space. So today we're talking about the importance of education, the importance of educating our consumers, the importance of educating our customers, the MSOs, the multi-state operators, everywhere from your very large cannabis operators to your more bougie, small production, very fine cannabis production. Education needs to go from the top down to the bottom, to your bud tenders, to your patients. So today we're talking about the importance of it. And I'm coming to you live from Florida. It's hot. It's super hot here. And so I'm gonna be sweating. I'm sweating. I'm in my trailer that I've been renovating on the land. So it's not the prettiest thing, but it's probably the quietest thing on the land. Other than this, you've got ducks and chickens and goats and God only knows what else we have running around here. So welcome to today's crazy show. And it's me. It's just me. So today, of course, High and Empowered, we're talking about education. We're talking about the importance of the future of education in the cannabis industry. I want to let you know that today I'm going to be smoking out of two different eighths. One is going to be blackberry pomegranate, and the other one is Holy Grail. Fantastic. And the company I'm smoking today is Sanctuary. They've been really putting out some great, affordable bud. And that's really one of the most important things in this industry because cannabis can get very expensive. And here in Florida, even though it's medical, we're not subsidized by insurance companies or by your medical insurance. Cannabis comes completely out of your pocket. Today's show, I do want to mention, today's show was kind of inspired by how different the cannabis consumer is as comparably to any other retail. In most retail, we had a conversation about this the other day. In most retail, you're not going to drive 4 to 5 hours to go find a great product because you can find that great product online. You can find that great product or a comparable product to what you're looking for, pretty much anywhere. So cannabis, one of our guests had mentioned that they drive 4 to 6 hours cross state lines to find the greatest cannabis, but it's worth it for them. They'll stock up, they'll bring it home, and now they have a month's worth. They don't have to keep leaving or picking up. They do it at one time, but it's great stuff at a great price. So education and the education of availability changes the perspective of our clients, changes the perspective of your patient. When you educate your consumer, when they become empowered by education, now they're understanding the product better. So when they're going to purchase it, they're not as nervous. They're not purchasing small amounts. They're getting larger amounts. They're learning about concentrates and how concentrates can help the body and how concentrates work so differently when you're microdosing cannabis or you're giving it to yourself more as a regiment. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well today. But today's main delve into conversation is really going to be about the intersection of cannabis education, community engagement, consumer empowerment. That's exciting. To me, that's a big deal because we really need to talk as a community, educating the consumer, which is us, and educating the MSO, the multi-state operators. Your very large cannabis providers need to be educated in cannabis. A lot of them have come into this market, wherever you might be, from other industries, like from Nike or from Budweiser or you name it. This industry has got it. Coca-Cola. These are big players. These people know retail. They know marketing of product, but they don't know cannabis. They don't know that a consumer, once educated, will travel to the ends of the earth if they can to get great product for a great price. So that kind of leads me back why I'm smoking Sanctuary today. Sanctuary here in Florida, medical provider. Here in Florida, we are medical only. And mm, that smells so good. Now, not always will this strain maybe work for me. And when you smell it, smelling it is a big trick. When you smell it, your body will tell you if that's what you're looking for. If you smell the bud, your body will open up to it, and that's something that you want to smoke. If you smell it and you're like, it doesn't smell great right now, but it smelled great earlier, or it smelled great a couple of days ago, it's maybe because how your body's changing, how what your ECS, endocannabinoid system, is looking for. Your endocannabinoid system creates homeostasis within the body. When you are using different cannabis products, your body will tell you the path that it wants to go on. Your body will let you know what sativa or what indica that you really need, mostly by smell. But that takes a little time to kind of figure out. So again, today we're smoking two different strains. We're smoking the Holy Grail, which is lemony. It's peppery. That smells fantastic. I think we're going to start with Holy Grail. And also we're smoking Blackberry Pomegranate. Both of these strains I picked up from Sanctuary. Great provider. Look, $20 an eighth. And they had a deal. You buy four for 60. That's great. I saved $20 and I got some really good buds. So I'm going to start off with the Holy Grail. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of education in the cannabis industry. So what my job was, and still is, I do events, I do promotions for different companies now, but I did used to work directly for the MSOs, the multi-state operators. Here in Florida, I worked for Afria, and then they were bought out or separated from the Canadian counterpoint and became Liberty Health Sciences. Now, Liberty Health Sciences sold themselves or partnered in with Air Wellness, AYR. Air Wellness is now a multi-state operator. They're in multi-states in recreational and medicinal. So I started with them and I stayed there a couple of years. And as a marketing manager, I moved over to Cureleaf. Cureleaf, I completed my contract with them. And since then, I do events. I've been doing, I do teachings at holistic seminars, teaching people about the combination of cannabis. And this is a very important thing. The combination of cannabis is not just cannabis. It's cannabis and good fats in your body. It's cannabis and eating right, cannabis and exercise, cannabis and meditation. We think cannabis on its own is going to do everything. Look, cannabis is, if you eat it raw, you get magnesium, manganese, omega-3, omega-6. If you juice it, you are getting incredible nutrients and fiber and protein that your body requires. More protein than even eggs. That's from the raw cannabis. But in that, we need cannabis in multiple different ways. Now, smoking it is very quick, but you're burning off a lot of the cannabinoids in the high heat. Once you hit 350 degrees, you've lost most of your beneficial cannabinoids that your body requires, like your CBN or your CBC, more CBCs and CBG, CBGAs. You want to try to stay with the acidics. THCA, very fantastic. CBGA, the mother of all cannabinoids. That's the beginning. So today we're talking about the importance of education and why we need to educate the consumers. So when you first get into cannabis, you don't know anything. You know, you walk into the dispensary after you leave the doctor's office with a recommendation from a doctor who also doesn't know anything. So what my job was, I was a marketing manager and also a field rep specialist here in Florida, where my territory was all of Florida. In that, I was educating doctors about the endocannabinoid system. At the same time, educating patients at seminars, events, online, through lives and I used to do it through an app called Relevant. Anyways, so in that, the doctors don't really know about the endocannabinoid system. They know about what they're taught in books. So if they didn't learn it in a book, they don't really know it. And sorry, I'm just going through making sure I'm not missing any texts because I do that a lot. I miss things. No, nothing at all. Fine, moving right along. So by educating the doctors, you're opening up their eyes to new ways of prescribing cannabis to their patients. And I say that because it's not just about getting high. It's about balancing your body and balancing. And as we get older, we are losing cannabinoids. We are born with cannabinoids. We get cannabinoids directly into our body from mother's milk, and they develop in our body as part of a system of homeostasis. And when there's a problem in your body, the ECS, the endocannabinoid system, pays attention to the problem in your body. And so by doing that, it's not putting everything else at ease. It's not putting everything else in homeostasis. So we need cannabis to be able to bring back that homeostasis. I have my own theories about a few other things, and we'll talk about those later. But right now, we're talking education. We're talking why we need to get educated. So when you first go into a dispensary and you leave the doctor's office, you don't know what to get. And the doctor really doesn't know what to tell you. All I've really heard the doctors before they become more educated, before they become more open in the healing powers of cannabis and what it can really do. They just tell them, well, get a 1-to-1, get a 50-50, rub it on and that's going to do wonders. Or, I want you to take CBD and that's going to do everything you need. Look, CBD is great. I love CBD. But without THC, you have no bonding agent. Without THC, there's no way for that CBD to stay in your system and to work in the incredible way that it works. We don't give it the opportunity. Instead, without THC and just CBD, it will come out of your system within 3 to 4 hours. That's it. Comes out in your stool. When you go to the bathroom, you're done. CBD is finished. But when it bonds to your body, CBD is able to stay in there for 30, 40, 50, 60 days and do incredible things. Work as a neurosuppressant. It increases your receptors and transmitters in the body. I mean, wow, all in combination with THC. And that's when I start talking about education. Education in cannabis is not just, education in cannabis is not just, oh, go get high and you're going to feel better. Or talking about the different cannabinoids and the different flavonoids and the different terpenes. When you start learning what smells work for you, what sativas work for you, you start understanding how they're working for you. I use a topical for my arthritis. I take edibles to help balance my system first thing in the morning. I have ADD. I have ADHD. I am OPP. I don't know what the hell I am. I'm a lot of things. But through cannabis, I'm normalized. And I use some of my disabilities as superpowers. At least that's how I've been able to learn to look at them, as opposed to looking at things like that to bring me down. They don't. So today I'm trying out really quickly this will slow down my talking, which is good. It'll bring me back here. We're trying right now the Holy Grail from Sanctuary here in Florida. And I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I've tried it before, but here we go. This is my Gandalf. It's enormous. But the reason I like it is that the smoke, by the time it gets to me, is so smooth. It's not harsh. It's given it a chance to travel a little bit and also cool down. When we're smoking, what makes us cough a lot is the heat. So if you have a joint, for example, and you're hitting it, you get that cherry really hot, and you take a big hit, and then it gets in those lungs, and your capillaries are opening up. It's getting directly into your bloodstream, but it's going to make you cough because you're dealing with carcinogens. You're dealing with butane contamination. And that's another conversation we're going to have about smoking as opposed to edibles. Because the older I get, I can't smoke as much. I mean, I love to smoke, but I can't smoke as much. So I use more edibles. I use more drink infusions. I make butter at home. And again, this is cannabis education. This is not, oh, how high can we get? But how can I use cannabis differently to still be able to deal with my ailments? Now, my ailments, I don't look at them as ailments. I mean, ADD, attention deficit disorder. That's a thing. Cannabis helps focus me a bit. I smoke sativas. They're vasodilators. They open up my blood vessels. They work in different ways. So I eat cannabis raw to help with my gut flora, to help with my microbiome here. I eat it raw to help change my metabolism. So I say that this year I turned 50, and I'm gonna be 50 years old. and my body is deteriorating the older I get. But I eat raw cannabis and I also juice it. I juice it so that the raw cannabinoids, the raw cannabis, CBGA, the mother of all cannabinoids, gets in my stomach and they start coating it. And it starts changing the way my stomach is processing. For example, I used to look at food, I would gain weight. Now I eat and it turns directly into energy. But I would have never known this just smoking. I would have never known this just because I didn't eat cannabis raw in the beginning. I just smoked, and I smoked a lot of indicas because I didn't understand what I was smoking. And by smoking those indicas, it made me tired, made me lethargic, made me lazy, made me not want to do anything other than play video games and sit on the couch and eat pizza. And then when I unlearned cannabis and relearned it, unlearn and relearn, I learned there was a whole new world. I was forced to relearn through losing somebody very near and dear to me, my mother, and I couldn't save her. And I had looked into everything in the world to save her. And I was in Texas. They're very against cannabis. Now they're a little more medical, but they're very against cannabis. And I really believed heavily in RSOs, Rick Simpson oils, FECO oil, FECO, whatever they call it. Um, but I was only at the mere beginnings of my education of cannabis, which opened up a world of learning and understanding the plant in a whole new way. I mean, I understood back then that you can use it to build with and make fuel, and that Henry Ford made a vehicle from bumper to bumper, including the engine. Have a great day at work. And bumper to bumper, making, and using the fuels and the oils. I mean, incredible stuff I knew, but I didn't know medically what it could do for me. I didn't know physically how cannabis can help me. And I say that because I was almost 300 pounds. Cannabis helped me lose weight. I was diabetic. Cannabis normalized my blood sugar, but I could have never done that with indicas. I never could have done that with what I was smoking. Instead, I did that through learning about THCV. Now, you may think, okay, THCV, everybody's talking about that. If I wasn't educated in cannabis, I wouldn't look for specific strains like Maui Wowies or Durban Gold, very high in THCV. But again, you get very little of it in the flower, and even less if you're smoking it because you're burning off all those cannabinoids. So I had to learn to eat cannabis. I had to learn to make tea with cannabis. I make tea. You're doing it at temperatures much lower where your cannabinoids are not breaking down. And so you're getting CBGA, the mother of all cannabinoids, the beginning of all cannabinoids. And the way this breaks down and attaches to your CB1, CB2 receptors, it helps change the way that your body's working. I say that now because it's worked for me. THCV, strains high in THCV decreased my appetite. Look, I was one that I would go to a buffet and I would eat and eat and eat and eat, and I wasn't satisfied. My body was looking for something. My body was calling for something, but I wasn't satisfying it. And through THCV, I get hungry, but now I get hungry and I'm hungry for something specific, and I have to satisfy that urge within my body. But other than that, I'm not crazy hungry. So I've lost about 100 pounds. I'm down to about 200 pounds. And it took me about a year and a half to really lose the bulk of that weight. Now, was it just cannabis? No. Was it just THCV? No. I changed. I don't eat any fast food, and I haven't for like 10 years. But I also changed the type of food I'm putting in my body. I stop eating around 8 o'clock at night, unless it's ice cream. And then I just eat that whenever. That's my weakness. All ice cream seems to be my weakness. And I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't know how that works out for me. But in that, I work very heavily on the microbiome, on your gut flora. Remember, that controls everything in your body, your mood, your energy, everything, everything. I never used to be this positive or energetic. I was a downer. My dad would call me a Debbie Downer. And I grew up very depressed. And I've fought depression my entire life. Why am I saying all this? Because if I go to the doctor and get a cannabis card and I give him all these ailments and here are my problems and here are my issues, how do I use cannabis to work on these? He's going to look at me like this. Uh, Use a one-to-one. Go slow, start slow. You'll figure it out. That's not the kind of cannabis education I needed. I need to know what strains are great. What ways can I use these strains that I'm not losing cannabinoids, or I'm using them to attach to my body properly, or what is microdosing? What are regimens? I wanted that kind of education entering in to medical cannabis or even recreational cannabis. They need so much more education where they need to understand the strains, the terpenes, and how they work and affect our body. So terpenes are the smell, the taste, terpenes and flavonoids. The reason this is so important in cannabis, because you can have a low THC, but there's an entourage effect from the smell and from the taste. Again, all of this comes back to education. When you first come into cannabis, you're not thinking about these things. You're not, you really don't know all the different methods of consumption, all the different cannabinoids and their functions in the body and why they're working, or what are terpenes, what are flavonoids. I don't know. I just want to feel better. That's what we're talking about, is feeling better. But it comes with education. It comes with excitement. You come into medication, you're not excited. You're with cannabis. I want you excited because you can eat it, you can smoke it, you can drink it, you could do a million things. You can vape it. Now vaping, I'm a little funny about. I do vape, but I only vape rosin, pure rosins, not resins. And that's another thing to talk about. Again, through education, you wouldn't really know what to try. You wouldn't know what to use. So today, the importance of it. The bud tenders. When you first get your medical card and you come to a dispensary, you want to know what to buy. Now, the bud tenders are busy. You come up to the counter. Do you have an order already placed? No, no, no. I don't have an order already placed. All right. So here's an iPad or whatever they call it. Punch your order in. It'll go right in, and we'll have it. We'll call you right up. I really don't know what to get. Well, what do you like? It's my first time. I don't know what to like. Oh, it's your first time. Great. Well, you get good discounts. Discounts are great, but what else am I getting? Well, I don't understand what to buy. Well, when you get up to the counter, we'll talk to you really quickly. We'll show you some things. You end up buying some of the wrong things. You end up buying too much of it. And a lot of times, instead of the dispensary upselling you properly so that you come back as a return customer and purchase more and more and more, educated, you double up on certain things. Oh, you're going to get this tincture. Well, go ahead and get 2 of these tinctures. You're going to need it. And let's go ahead and push these things to this customer that we don't normally sell because we want to get rid of them. This guy doesn't know what he's buying. Customer brings these things home. He'll get some smokables. He'll get some things he heard about. Well, I heard about the White Widow, or I heard about Blue Dream. But how are these things working for the customer? What are his issues? And I say that because here's what I mean. When you come in, I'm not selling. There's so many different products to sell you. I'm not selling you a product. I'm selling you I'm selling you a solution. I like that. I'm not selling you a product. I'm selling you a solution. You come in looking for something. What are you getting? You need a solution to your arthritis, to your neuropathy, to your fibromyalgia, to your restless leg syndrome, to your I can't sleep at night for 1,000 different reasons because my mind won't slow down, or I can't sleep because my bone pain is too bad. My restless leg is because of my nerves are on edge, and I'm dealing with neuropathy and my nerve endings are dying, or fibromyalgia. What strains, what solution am I looking at for there? Or I need cannabis because I have no energy in the morning and I have no focus. I'm selling you a solution. You're coming with a problem. You need a solution, not a product, not a brand. But there's 1,000 brands. And there's usually, when you go to a dispensary, so many different brands to choose from. So I would love bud tenders to start with education of the solution. Let's solve the solution. Let's give you what you're looking for. That's where education starts with the bud tender. Compassion, understanding. This is not regular retail. I mean, With cannabis, we take it personally. With cannabis, we take it seriously. With cannabis, if I don't have a good if I don't have a good interaction in the store, I'll feel that. I'll remember that. And I may not go back. Now, it may be a decent product at a decent price, not a great price, but a decent price. But if I had a bad interaction with the bud tenders, well, why would I go back? Why would I go through that again? Because cannabis is also emotional. Cannabis is also personal. I look, it used to be when I had to pick it up illegally, I wasn't nervous on the way to go pick it up. I felt, I'm happy I'm finally finding some weed. And then I'd pick it up, but I'm nervous on the way home. And if I picked it up from somebody kind of shady, well, that also affects the way I look at the weed. And then my drive home was like crazy because I'm nervous about being pulled over and about the shady person I just dealt with. And then I've got to smoke once I get home, and I'm just in the mood. That wasn't healing. So healing and education, it's the combination. I lost weight because I learned to start meditating and cannabis. I learned to start eating right and cannabis. I learned which strains were working right for my body. And you may think, what do you mean that doesn't work right? Weed is weed, and it's not. It's not. Look, I would smoke and like a joint or a sweet or whatever back then, and I'd start getting a headache. Like, why am I getting a headache? I need this to get rid of my headache. This is bullshit. So I'd put down the joint or the sweet or whatever it was, or the pipe. I'd put it down. I'd walk away, and my headache would start to dissipate, maybe, within 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, good. And I'd see the joint there in the ashtray. I'd pick it up. I'd light it back up and, start smoking again, very happy as can be. And then I start getting a headache again. I'm like, craziest thing. Or the taste in my mouth was wrong. Or I was feeling falsely tired. And I'll explain that in a moment too. But anyways, so the headache was one of the indications that my body was telling me that this strain wasn't right for me, that this is not what I was looking for at the time. But it might have been something that I was smoking before that was perfectly fine for me. But right now, it's not working. Right now, it's not what my body needs. I don't only smoke sativas. I also smoke indicas. I also smoke hybrid leaning indica or sativas. And everything these days is hybrid leaning. Again, education. Because when you first get out of the doctor's office, all you know is indica and sativa, or indica hybrid and sativa. But everything is a hybrid. There's really no landrace strains. I mean, there are a few. And there's a few growers I know that have them, a few people I know with seeds and seed vaults and under lock and key, and they wake up at every 4-hour intervals and they're checking the cameras, making sure, no. But in that, there's really no landrace. There's a lot of hybrids leaning, hybrid this, hybrid that, like what I'm smoking today. I'm smoking blackberry pomegranate. That's a hybrid leaning sativa. But it says sativa, but I'm going to say hybrid leaning because it's not a landrace. And also I'm smoking, actually I haven't even smoked blackberry pomegranate yet. I'm still smoking Holy Grail, which Holy Grail is a hybrid. It says hybrid, but it definitely feels sativa. So I can feel the sativa working in my body. I can feel me even talking faster, thinking faster. And definitely I'm more focused. One second. Not even sure what's happening there. Okay, we're here. So I'm more focused, and I can feel that focus. So that's what we're smoking. 1 second. We're going to take a quick break. Not a break, just a smoky. And I'm smoking from my Gandalf. I love this pipe. Again, a reason I like it so much, it cools the smoke as it goes down this very long pipe, which reduces my chance of coughing. Also, it gives me more of the flavor, and that's another big deal. I like to taste my cannabis. Now, I would be smoking out of a joint right now, but I'm trying to reduce the carcinogens or the heat that I would be doing, because sometimes in a joint, you can hit temperatures upwards of 2,000 degrees. And once you've already hit 350, you're already burning off all the beneficial cannabinoids that your body needs to assimilate. So again, let's get back to education in the industry. bud tenders. So when bud tenders are compassionate and educated, not just on their products, but the solution. Remember, when you go into a dispensary, you're not looking for a brand. You're not looking for a specific product. You're looking for a solution to your problems. So the bud tenders really need, but here's the other part. They need enthusiasm. They need to be reminded why they love doing what they're doing. They need to be reminded that cannabis, look, when you get the cannabis, it's not just a paycheck, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle because you're in it to heal yourself and heal others and heal the world in the understanding of all things cannabis, all things. And that's industrial, agricultural, that's medicinal, recreational. And even recreational, you're using it medicinally because you're using it to ease your body and ease your mind. I also use cannabis to ease my pain, ease my PTSD that I deal with. And we all deal with PTSD. Life gives us PTSD. Traffic gives us PTSD. Our bosses give us PTSD. Our wives give us PTSD. I'm just saying, our life can be very hectic. And cannabis, oh so slightly, lifts up the soul and gives us the opportunity to deal with life. So that's part of the education. So when a bud tender deals with a solution and the bud tender's happy, feels appreciated, feels taken care of in the industry itself, then they also go the extra mile and it becomes community. That's what we're missing. The reason I push education so hard now is that we've lost community. COVID did that to us. We used to smoke together. We used to pass the joint around. We used to talk about it, how it's helping, how we can get it, who we can get it from, how you can make it into something else, how you can, make edibles and butter and learn about microdosing, but we didn't call it that. And as a community, we taught others. COVID stopped a lot of that. So now education really comes from the bud tenders and the community of your dispensaries. Your dispensary is your beginning of education, your beginning of enthusiasm in cannabis and what we can really do with it. So bud tenders happy, they're educated, they educate that new consumer. That new consumer now feels loyalty. They feel loyalty for the dispensary, not necessarily the brand. Loyalty to the people there, not even necessarily the brand. Because I've seen when people leave a dispensary, people stop going and they'll go somewhere else or they'll go where that person is. Is the weed better there? No, but the person is better. The people are better. The attitude, the understanding is better. The education is, because that's who you talk to when you first got in. See, when you buy illegally, you only buy from maybe 2 or 3 different people at most because you're nervous. You don't want to get caught. It's out of trust. It's out of quality. It's out of availability. So when you get into your medical or recreational, now recreational might be a little different for people. And I'll express what I'm saying here. When you first get into medical and you have already been in the industry, you've already been a smoker, you may, for the first year or so, you're going to buy from 1 or 2 places. Why? Because they're close, because this is the first places you go to. These are all the places you know about. Cannabis dispensaries here in Florida, for example, really can't advertise and they really can't get incredibly loud. So your first impression is from your doctor's office. Your first impression is from a friend or from a referral. And so again, 1 or 2 different places you're going to shop at. And you're kind of stuck with but then if they don't treat you right or the prices are just too high, you're going to look, all right, where are there other cannabis dispensaries? And then it becomes about availability. It becomes about price. It becomes about who am I excited to go see? Excited. Why would I be excited to go purchase a product? It's weed. I'm excited. Be excited. I'm excited about tasting and smelling and smoking something new. But I'm also excited to deal with the staff at the dispensary. That's the thing. We go, it's community. We go, we chit chat for anywhere from 2 minutes to 30 minutes while we're waiting in line or while we're waiting for the order. And we say hi and we're excited to see people. See, that's not just medication. That's how you feel going into it and how you feel coming out. And that's how you remember that dispensary. You feel good about it. When you feel good about something, you remember it. Education comes in. Education and learning about our cannabinoids. So you come in with a problem. I want to lose weight. And I heard I could lose weight with cannabis, but I also need more energy. I also need a little more empowerment or something. Try sativas. Well, what kind of sativas? Well, there's so many different terpenes and so many different things. The bud tender should be able to say, well, there's myrcene or there's limonene or citroen or caryophyllene, and they're for specific reasons, and they help in specific ways. And in this sativa, the terpenes that are present in this help bring a little energy, help bring a little bit of this and that. That's what you're looking for. And this one maybe specifically is high in THCV. Great, that's the one I want. That's what I'm looking for. He just solved a problem. He brought a solution to the table and created a customer for life, because now they're excited by that interaction, excited that the person taught them something and also brought them a solution. So this THCV is going to start helping as an appetite suppressant and also regulating the blood sugar in the body. This THCV, if he uses it as a tea, gets in as minor cannabinoids and starts maybe changing the way our stomach processes food. Changes our metabolism just a little bit, like mine. Again, I was 300 pounds. I'm maybe less than 200 now. Full energy, full excitement. I'm a totally different person because of cannabis. But I would have never known without education. If I didn't unlearn and relearn because of something that happened to me in my life, I wouldn't have realized where cannabis can help me with my cholesterol, which is still incredibly high. But it did help with my weight. It did help with my mind. It did help with my depression, with my energy, and with my want of life. Sorry. Oh, that was delicious. Okay. It changed the direction of where I wanted to take my life. I've always wanted to help, but I didn't know how to help. I've always wanted to be someone who brought healing. But cannabis it didn't click to me. And when it did, it's like a light went off. And we use it in combination. Yes, we have to drink water. Water's great for our body. Coconut water's great, but you need to do it in combination with water as well, and cannabis. It's like if you're smoking, remember, you're going to get thirsty. Drink water. See, that's a reminder. 8 glasses a day. Didn't say 8 joints a day, but if you want to smoke a joint with each glass of water what a great way to do it. You'll be very high by the end of the day. Depends on what you're smoking. Small disclaimer, don't do it or do it. It's your choice. That's what cannabis, it can't hurt you. It can't kill you. And you can only get so high. And then you start normalizing out. Remember, you can fill up that cup and then it's just overflowing. And it's overflowing and that transference to blood-brain barrier then is saturated. And you're as high as you're going to be. Through education, we want to learn how to come down. You take two aspirin, boom. Within 10 minutes, you're normalized if you feel too high. Also you eat, there's also some fruits you can eat which help normalize out the body. Again, it comes down to education. So bud tenders being educated and really creating that love of dispensary and that love of I don't even know if there's any comments. Let's check. Just looking, and absolutely none. Perfect. Fine. Don't have to answer anything. Just looking again. Okay. Nope. Nothing going on there. Let's come back here. Okay. So anyways, so you're creating a different consumer when they leave your dispensary. You are hitting them with education, but you're creating a love of product, a love of company that they want to be a part of. Now you are bringing them on that journey of education. You are bringing them on that journey of understanding cannabis in a whole different way. So you're creating confident consumers, and then you're also from them, you're creating a different kind of community involvement because now they're referring you. They're talking to others. They are your wing, your arm of advertising where you can't advertise. Your customers and employees, happy employees, will advertise you more than any commercial ever could. They will advertise you more than anybody ever could. They are your powerhouse. Employee empowerment brings huge return on investment to the company for long run, short run and long run. Your customers bring enormous ROI when they're happy, excited, and taken care of. So, that's empowerment on the business side. That's empowerment on the customer patient side. Um, and that really, I believe, that's the beginning of education, which amplifies sales and return customers. That's the correlation. That's their education. They're entering into a medical cannabis field. They need to learn, they want to learn something, how it's going to help them. Because I have had a lot of patients that have come in when I was in the call center many moons ago. And they were like, look, how is cannabis going to help me, Oren? I've been smoking for so long and nothing's helped me. I'm like, well, maybe smoking's not the way. Well, I can't do edibles. They destroy me. Maybe the way you're taking them. Maybe we need to microdose them and make them smaller. Maybe what they're made out of. Pectin is better for the body. MCT oils are used and medium chain triglycerides, concentrated coconut oil. And if you have that in a tincture or a gummy and you have already gastrointestinal issues, this is going to set you ablaze and you're going to end up possibly going to an ER. Why? Because of what it's doing and how it's processing in your body. So education, we need to learn how it's going to use. So these customers, for example, they were older customers, older than myself. And in that, they were fed up and they were about to give up on cannabis. That means a dispensary, an MSO I was working for, was about to lose their best demographic with funds easily spent. These people have the money. They can afford cannabis without insurance intervention or something. So when you lose a patient like that, because they're giving up on their healing because they're not doing it right, because they did not get the education, you are missing out on massive opportunities. So, for example, I had spoken to that customer. Now, call centers are not something that you find a lot of here in Florida or anywhere else for cannabis companies. But I think call centers would be essential. Yes, they cost you money. But if you have people who love the plant and love to teach and love to talk, call centers are genius because and promote for people to call in with questions. I want to learn about cannabis. We'll call our number. You are now bringing in new customers in a whole new way. You're offering them support. You're offering them solution. Solution, people. That's what we need. Keep it simple. Okay, I digress. Let's keep moving. Education, bud tenders, and the bud tenders to the customer. The customers get educated. Great. Customers get educated. They feel brand loyalty or dispensary loyalty. And oh, we're starting to change the world right there. But wait, we're not. Education also needs to come to your MSOs, your multi-state operators like Cureleaf or Trueleaf or there's a bunch out there that operate in recreational and medicinal states. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout out or give any credo to those dispensaries. I do not promote anybody. Actually, I am promoting somebody individually right now. That I'm going to be going to Colorado. Amazing. The reason I'm so excited because the bud that they have is genius, beautiful. I can't wait for the concentrates. I can't wait for the people. I can't wait for the elevation. I'm going to be going to Colorado for 420. I'm going to be taping everything that I can. Definitely trying to come to you live on 420 from the Red Rocks Amphitheater. And we're going to definitely show what we can show. If nothing else, we'll have the camera pointing to a couple chairs in a corner, and you're going to be live in the action. It's going to be your best backstage pass you've ever gotten. Excuse me. So anyways, quickly, education needs to go to your corporate level, your decision makers, the people who are coming into this industry from Coca-Cola, from ROI, from not ROI, from any industry that is big corporation, Budweiser, blah, 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 blah. Any industry that's big corporation that's coming into cannabis that's not cannabis, that doesn't smoke the plant, that doesn't use the plants, and really doesn't understand how that plant works with our body. So in that, they need the education. and the understanding that our patients have and are learning about the plant. When they start to learn, things start to change. When they start to learn about it, then they say, oh, wow, wait, we need more tinctures. We need more topicals. We need more solutions, more options for our patients. It's not just high THC. And that's what some dispensaries will make you think. You know, they advertise and push the notion of we have the highest THC, so it's going to help you the most. But that's not true. With education, you understand that high THC really only matters for how long of an entourage that you want, how long of an initial high that you're getting. And not always does it work that way. So I'm smoking something right now. I think it's like 27%. That's about as high as I look. That's high. That's good. I mean, I've smoked a 32. I've smoked a 33, a 30. But you know, you start losing a taste. They start getting harsh. I have smoked some that have been incredibly smooth, that were insane, very close to 40%. But I don't think so. There's a lot of false claims that can be made. Was I incredibly high for a moment? But I came down and that was it. I mean, I was high for a moment when I smoked it. Now, would that high THC still affect me if I was eating it raw? Would that high THC still affect me if I'm smoking a lot of this cannabis? Like I'm smoking the bowl today, and I have two bowls. You know, I've got them packed in with different stuff to easily jump from one to the other. But after every hit, am I getting that much higher? No, I'm just balancing out that high. Does that high THC really matter at that point? Medically, no. It does matter and it doesn't. I'd say anything below 15%, the quality of that cannabis is quite low. It's going to be a little harsh for me. That's where that may not be the case because I've had hemp, male marijuana that has been very smooth, very tasty, very well grown, and got me a little high. And I was like, oh shit, what is this I'm smoking? That's good. I can smoke that on the regular because I quit smoking cigarettes using cannabis. I'm telling you, cannabis can be used in so many different ways to heal the body. So I haven't had a cigarette in years. I still dream about them. That's the kind of hold nicotine as a poison and as a drug has on your body. See, that's the big difference between nicotine and cannabis. Nicotine is a poison. Nicotine is a drug. Cannabis is natural, and it's there to help the body naturally get over the poisons and get over the drugs. That's how I see cannabis. So that's why we need education. We need it because the consumer needs it. We need it because the bud tenders need it. We need it because the growers need it, because they need to know that the love they're putting into this plant goes into the love of our bodies, goes into the understanding and education of cannabis and our body. And the corporate level needs the education because we love them to put out a good product. We need them to put out the right product with love and understanding and education. When they understand, the company mindset changes. And here in Florida, we have some incredible, like I've mentioned a few, so I'll even mention the Flowery. They've been doing great with education. They've been doing great with customer retention because of their love and enthusiasm for the plant and their small batch mindset. Now, they lose that a little bit because they're a little too recreational in this market. They're a little too recreational for the consumer, the retirees, the veterans that are coming off of heavy medications, the retirees that are coming into Florida, and I'm using Florida as an example, but the retirees that are coming into Florida don't see it recreationally. They still have to change that mindset to change it away from being a drug. So when a place like the Flowery, for example, which they have beautiful shit, their weed is lovely, but they're expensive, and I can't afford them. And they've kind of strayed back from education, and they're really pushing the community and recreational side of it now. And in that, even though I love that community, it's kind of pushed me away a little bit. It's kind of given me like a weird taste in my mouth. And I'm like, I can't afford it. But if I pass by one of your dispensaries on my way down south, I'll stop and get a pre-roll, like a big 2 gram with keep rolled around it. And beautiful. lovely. I'll smoke that shit later and be like, damn, that was an expensive ass pre-roll, but it was good. But I'm not going to buy your weed on the regular. I'm looking for affordability. I'm looking for a better community of education and understanding of my ailments. I'm looking for a solution. That's where education comes in. That's why your big MSOs, your big corporate characters need to see it. Your CEOs, your CFOs, everybody needs to see it from a whole different way, needs to see it medically, needs to understand, even though we're entering a recreational market, headstrong over here, we still need to see it in an educational way. How can we bring you a solution and bring you a great product that we've loved to grown? We've put love into it. We put great nutrients into it. We haven't put anything that's going to harm you. So I'm just saying that's where we're at now in the industry. They need that education. Mm. So really taking away from this is the education is there to help your big corporations long run, to make more money, bigger, better sales, not just upselling, but selling as community, selling the solution, selling what people actually need, not what you want to sell them. And by selling them what they need, you're going to prosper tenfold, tenfold, because consumers now are not the same. COVID changed us. During COVID, we now want something different. We now want something more from our retail, from our corporations, from our products. We want to be involved. We want to be a part of it. COVID gave us a lot of time to look into ourselves and a lot of time to look at our products and look at what we're consuming and what we're putting into our bodies. The more we feel connected to a company, I think the more we feel comfortable purchasing and the more educated we become in those purchases. So anyways, I'm sure I've rambled a bit today, and that's kind of the point of it. That was the point. We're talking education. We're talking about the importance of ongoing education to help shape the corporations and to help shape our communities. That's huge. That's huge on empowerment. Today, high and empowered. This is what it's all about. I'm usually high, but I am empowered through the plant, through the education, and through the future of this industry. Yes, I'm worried. I'm worried that the closer and faster we rush to recreation, the less we're going to learn. And the more that it becomes just about a product, and we're not contributing to the growth and normalization of cannabis and promoting its safe and responsible consumption, but instead we're just selling a product at that point. And it becomes less about education. It becomes less about people. Education's important for people dying of cancer, people dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's and osteoporosis. I'm mentioning these things because that's how cannabinoids can help us. I told myself today I'm not going to educate on the individual cannabinoids. We'll do it in the next episode maybe. But I didn't want to talk about the individual cannabinoids today. I wanted to mention that education is key in helping people with cancer, helping people with AIDS, helping people with cardiovascular disease, helping people with osteoporosis, bone degenerative diseases, helping people that have Crohn's. Look, I've mentioned so many different ailments, and all of these cannabis can help, but we don't know without education. You go out there, you don't see people talking about how cannabis can help with osteoporosis. And then they're like, okay, so Oren, tell me now, how does cannabis help with osteoporosis? Okay, I'm going to take a hit and I'm going to tell you. Oh, I just saw a smoke ring. Awesome. Okay. CBN. CBN is THC, but it's aged, it's oxidized, it's degrading. And in its oxidization, in its degradation, It's changing. And in that change, you ready? This is where I get so excited. Oh, okay. It becomes a bone growth stimulant. Multiple double-blind studies have been performed, and this is not, I don't just talk out of my ass. I will only tell you anything that is scientifically proven and to back up. Look at my page. There I have links to CBN that discuss the scientific research behind it. CBN, Charlie Bravo Nancy. What is it? So it's aged THC. It's old weed. It's old weed, and they've extracted the CBN out of that THC, or the THC is actually more so turned into CBN. CBN can be used to help regulate the sleep centers of the body, not put you to sleep, but make you naturally tired. So, like when you smoke an indica, and I mentioned this earlier, I'm glad I'm swinging back around. When you smoke an indica, that indica can make you falsely tired if that's not what your body's looking for. It can make you feel heavy. And that's not the right kind of, I want to go to sleep. That can create anxiety. But if you are naturally tired, your body naturally is able to go into those stages. CBN, smoking CBN, or actually using it more in a tincture or even an oral pill format, can help more. But taking it after a period of time starts to regulate your sleep centers. Now, also taking it in a pill form, I would say more. I would love to have it in a gummy. I've seen it in gummies and pectin gummies. That way, they break down very quickly and get into the bloodstream like this. Okay, you take this for a little while. Now, albeit it may not regrow bone, but it will stop or help stop the degradation of bone deteriorative diseases like osteoporosis. Okay, wow. Without education, I would never know. I'm getting older and I am deteriorating. And I would have never used, see, I mean, I did smoke some old weed. I've smoked a lot of old weed, come to think about it. But I would have never known at the extraction of THC or the degradation, the oxidization of it, becoming CBN. Mind blown for me. And that helps with bone deteriorative diseases. That alone is freaking miracle. Okay, talk another another cannabinoid. Sure. THCV. I love THCV. I could talk for days on THCV. THCV is the extended hydrocarbon found only in sativas and usually in Durban strains, uh, Hawaiian gold strains or gold strains, any gold strain. I don't know why, but they're usually very high in THCV. And that THCV becomes during the and it's got to be like a full sun. I mean, I've seen it come in full spectrum lighting, beautiful full spectrum lighting, but lighting helps, but it does need full sun, needs a touch of that. See, and certain cannabinoids don't develop in green and just indoor lighting. You need outdoor lighting to be able to develop further cannabinoids. So THCV is developed in the drying and curing process, normally has to be kept cold so that you don't lose the smell, the taste, the flavors, and those cannabinoids or the concentration of those cannabinoids. So your grower needs to be educated. And actually, I've spoken to a few here in Florida that know their shit. And they're growing great stuff, but then they're losing it in the cure, in the dry, it's tough. It's tough. So THCV, the extended hydrocarbon, taken as a pill, as an extract. Because if you're smoking your cannabis, it's not enough because you're burning those cannabinoids off in the heat. Oh, that bowl is definitely done. Sorry. Oh, did myself some injustice. Let's move to the other pipe. Okay. Okay. So I like to show the normalization of cannabis. That's why I smoke on my show. I don't smoke, be like, oh, look, I can smoke. I smoke all fucking day. I don't care. I don't care. In that, I don't smoke sometimes all day. Sometimes I go a week without using anything at all. That's a tough week. That's a really tough week. But if I went a second week, I just don't need it. It's not addictive. And there are no addictive attributes other than it takes away my pain. other than it helps ease my mind and my stomach, other than it's kept me young and sprightly. And I think I use topicals. I love cannabis topicals. I use a cannabis shampoo, and I'm not losing any hair. No, not at all. I shave it all off, but still not losing any. Still, cannabis has attributed to my youth, to my energy, to the change in my mind, the change in my body, the change in my metabolism, but through education. That's why education's important. So I was talking THCV. I was pre-diabetic, probably already diabetic, and I, in that, a THCV regulates or helps regulate the blood sugar in the body. Wow, wow. THCV works as an appetite suppressant, not a hunger, or not a hunger increase with indicouches, whatever you want to call them, but a sativa, THCV, suppresses my appetite. I get hungry, but specific things, smaller amounts. I maybe eat a little bit all day long, so my body can burn off the food. THCV is also known, and CBGA, the mother of all cannabinoids, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, see, I drink these espressos and they do terrible things to my body, but I love them. So I have to smoke more to heal myself. I don't believe that. Mm. But they are delicious, I tell you. Only occasionally now. I've been cutting them down. THCV also activates. Now, ready? Are you ready for this? I know you're probably like, yeah, Oren, we're ready. Come on, bring it up. Activates the zombie receptors and neurons within the brain. There's a study, and I was like, no, bullshit. And no, it's not bullshit. It's the real deal. It starts activating those receptors in our brain that are not talking, that it starts rerouting pathways. THCV, the extended hydrocarbon found in Colombian gold, a landrace strain, which is also, if you can find it, it's beautiful. Tastes so good. Oh, love Colombian. I made a hashish with it. We did a bubble hash on a large crop so many years ago. I mean, that's like lifetimes ago. Cured it over months. Oh my God, it was so delicious. Hash is another thing Florida doesn't have yet. But when it comes, we need the education. It's a concentrate, can be used in such different ways. Okay. THCV, we don't lose the cannabinoids. We don't lose it through butane, through carcinogens, through heat, through whatever. So THCV, Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, it helps rewrite the brain. Whether we're smoking it or drinking it or eating it or dousing it or capsuling, holy shit, that's big. That's enormous. That's cannabis. That's education. That's learning beyond just, I'm going to get high, beyond what strain works for me. That's the education of cannabis. That's the beginning of cannabinoids. I mean, there's CBD. CBD is not just a cannabinoid. It is a multispectral healing agent. I mean, I wish I had like a cutaway or something. I don't, of course. CBD. Actually, I do. I don't know if I can. I can't. The screen doesn't zoom in. Of course, I'm looking at a screen with no zoomy. All right, doesn't matter. That being said, CBD on its own is a show on its own. It is a multispectral neural, physical, neurological, guttural healing agent that can help with Crohn's and other issues that people are having with their stomachs, other guttural, intestinal diseases. Cannabis can help. Cannabis can help reverse things, set things. I mean, I know there's some really tough ones, but it's also the medications that people are taking. And within the medications that you are taking, they are also hurting you. And they could be hurting your stomach. They could be hurting your blood, your bones. Cannabis doesn't hurt your blood and your bones. It heals. your blood and your bones. I mean, depending on how you're taking it. I mean, if you're just smoking it and smoking, I mean, you're calming your mind, you're calming your body, but you're really not resetting your ECS, your endocannabinoid system. You're really not working on on different issues. I for my arthritis, for my knees and my hands, I use a topical. I use a lemon and grass. That's actually the one I'm using. It was Mary's Medicinals, from a different company that I used to work for, and only when things get bad, I go to it. Only when things are really bad, I'm like, oh my god, we got to get it out of the safe because there's no more of it. So I'll use it sparingly and I'll put it on my hands, and you rub it in until your skin warms up. Now your pores are opening, and now it becomes more transdermal and gets deeper into those fat layers. Remember, cannabis transfers via the fats. Education. We need to understand how topicals work. They're not just, let me take it, let me slap out. It hurt. Let me slather it on me, and slather, done. Why is it not working? My elbow's hurting. Slather, slather. It should be working. Depends what you're using. But whatever you're using, you take it, you rub it in till the skin warms up enough. Rub it in, really rub it deep. I know it hurts. I know, but rub it deep. The pores are opening up and you're getting it deeper, and you're going to get more of that medication working in your body. It's not what you're using, and maybe it's how you're using it. So we have to change the way we use cannabis, or at least our understanding. You're not smoking it wrong. Keep smoking it. You're smoking it fine. Now, but maybe try a device that's not something you have to light with a lighter and deal with butane contamination, or a wick or whatever, or high consent, burning, burning, burn. Instead, use something like a Puffco proxy. I love Puffco. You guys are great. No, they don't pay me. I buy their shit. It's expensive, but you pay for what you get. And that's another thing we need to learn about in cannabis. Because when I was young, you know how much money I wasted on devices and different things and items because they look cool, but they didn't work, or it was just too much work to deal with. I wish I had a better education. See, you could tell my hours about up here. If I had a better education in devices, I wouldn't have wasted so much money. So now I smoke concentrates, hashish and bubble hash. I'll smoke shatter, wax, sugar. I do love some sugar. Sugar is the concentrate where the terpenes have been added to like to like a crumble, or to like a diamonds. So diamonds with sauce is like a sugar to me. But then crumble looks like a honeycomb, and as that raises it, actually crumble's probably my favorite. It's airy, it tastes the best. It disappears quickly, but it's probably my favorite. Do love crumble. So I'll use my Puffco proxy. I don't have it with me today. It's somewhere else, nice and clean, getting ready for a trip. You got to clean the hell out of it before you go on a flight, and separate it and whatever. But I put a little bit of concentrate in that, and I hit a button. It's on its lowest temperature, and I'll smoke it like a Sherlock Holmes. They also make one, the Peak, which the Peak is amazing. You could do so much when you understand your cannabis differently. THCV is one of those cannabinoids that can burn off very easily, and you can lose that very easily. It comes with education, it comes with understanding, and it comes with learning. That's my mission of life, is to help the entire chain, reinvigorate the bud tenders, show them the life of cannabis, of love, the love of cannabis, the entertainment and enthusiasm of it, the education of it, the future of it. Show the corporations the same, and how that will all trickle down and become the community that we've lost through COVID, or lost through the years of how cannabis, or we as people, change. I think community is education. And I've learned, like here in Florida, for example, just to show you what I mean, our aging communities in the villages are the largest growing, largest STD. Oh my God. It just, don't touch anybody. Don't touch anything while you're there. I'm sure it's not that bad, but it's the largest community that needs to learn about cannabis because they need the help. But they live with a stigma because they've grown up with the stigma of cannabis, the stigma of how bad it is, and all these commercials and propaganda that have come out about cannabis. They grew up with that. So that's what's in their head. Now they need to be taught, and they need to learn how different it really is. But no matter how much you may speak to them about it, they don't give a shit. They don't care until they see their friend using it and it works for their friend, or their friend is more sprightly, or their arthritis pain is reduced, or they have more energy, or they're eating better. And so they're like, how did you do this? What's going on? What secret fountain of youth have you found? What is this? I don't know why I'm turning into like an old Jewish guy or something. That's where my accent turns into, but whatever. That's the villages to me. That's all I hear. So, well, I'm using cannabis. Cannabis. You're using cannabis? You're one of those hippies. Hippie schmippy. I don't give a shit. It works. It does. It does. It does. It does. I love it. Now, that person's stigma around cannabis is like wiped out immediately. They're like, I need to find out more. I need to find out how this is going to help my knee. You know about my knee. I can't play golf anymore. This knee of mine. Everybody has heard about your knee. The whole community knows about your knee. See, I get off into a tangent. I don't care though. That's the emotion of cannabis. That's the positivity that it can change right there. That guy or that lady or whomever, I'm going to try it. So they get a license. And if they don't get educated or excited or enthused about it, they're going to get confused and get the wrong products. And then they're never coming back to cannabis again. That's a customer for life through education, through understanding. That's education. That's the whole point of what I'm talking about in today's show. That's it. That's right there, the most important thing. I mean, we can talk about Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis. We could talk about all of those and how cannabis can help. Maybe not cure, but in combination, can change the world for people. That's the point of today's show. Just changing the world for some people through cannabis. I'm not talking about a fuel and an agricultural and a building material. No. Let's just start with our health. Let's start taking care of each other and ourselves. Look, some people will then stop taking vitamins and just go to cannabis. You need your vitamins too. Cannabis is not going to provide all of your vitamins. I mean, they do provide quite amount of your amino acids and proteins and fats. Yes, but only through like raw seed consumption or chewing on the stalk and eating raw cannabis, making teas, green teas, smoothies. Look, we don't get raw cannabis here in Florida. And so if you're able to get some raw cannabis, make yourself a smoothie with the sugar leaves and some bud. Wow. Good shit. It is. But also like cucumber and other green, like spinach. Put spinach in there. Spinach is great. Lovely. Don't forget to take your vitamins. It's about the combination. Cannabis and the combination. Actually, that should be a show on its own. We're going to do a show talking about cannabis and the combination. And the combination is changing the fats in your body, changing the actions. If you change how you think about something, if you change the way you see it, the world changes around you. Cannabis helped me do that. Cannabis helped me see the value in myself through sativas, through more energy, through more understanding, through more education, through knowing that I can reach people now. I may have not been able to help my mom, but I can help so many more. And I do it in her honor. I do it in everybody's honor. I do it in the honor of all the people studying the plant that don't get recognition, all the scientists, Dr. oh my God, I'm terrible now. Steve Mecholam, the godfather of discovering THC and so many other cannabinoids. Wow, I do it for everybody. Everybody who's been in this plant, all the legacy players that have grown the best weed. I do this for the education and the understanding and community of the plant, not just, hey, let's talk about weed. No, let's talk about cannabis. Let's talk about it medically, recreationally. How can we make a tea? What do we put in that tea? As a community, we elderberry. That's very good. You you want to put in, citrus is great. That opens things up. Any loose leaf tea blend. That's it. And then break up your weed about 2 joints worth. Put it in one of those little balls, those volleyball balls that hold shit. And then steep your tea. Steep. That's the word I was looking for the other day. I don't know what I used. I used something just completely wrong. But that's the thing. Cannabis saved my life. And I say that also because, look, depression. We fight. If you have depression, it's not a battle that you win. It's not like one day you get up and you're like, ha, I kicked depression in the ass. I can continue my day. No, it gets you everywhere. It comes back at the strangest of times. It comes back a little, it comes back a lot. Through cannabis, through microdosing it and using it in small ways to heal myself, I've also balanced my mind. I don't get high. I mean, I'm pain tolerant and I deal with a lot of different pains. My arm starts to burn. It's crazy. I think it's part of the neuropathy. I'm numb in my leg from up to about my knee. I don't feel much. I feel, but I don't feel. Like I feel it super deep. It's weird. It's like it's like a Captain Hook nub. I don't know. It's weird. My leg is weird. I lose balance sometimes, right? And then as it creeps up my body, as it comes through my arm, it'll react in different ways. And it's an immense, intense burning. That's like a fire going on. I smoke a joint. It starts to feel better. I get some cannabis topical and I rub it. And it hurts and it's burning. Like, this was last night. That's why I know. Right here, right? This whole area. And I was itching. And I'm like, I just can't do anything. I use the cannabis topical. I'm not going to tell you from who. And it was a full spectrum of beautiful stuff. Rubbed it in until my skin warmed up. The pores started opening. Within a minute to 2, the burning subsided. I was almost crying. Nothing. Look, pain pills won't help with that. I don't take them. And CBD on its own won't help with that. It needs that combination of full spectrum, full plant medicine that comes from education. That's what today's show is all about. It's all about understanding cannabis, understanding the education. That's the future of it, that and delivery. Because I'm tired of going to the damn dispensary. And I guess I'm going too much. But wait, let me just blow. Wait. I really like smoking through my Gandalf. It's lovely. I'm just going to clear it out. Okay. Yeah, nothing in there. Okay. So earlier, by the way, I just want to mention, this is a long show today. I'm going to go like an hour and a half, and then I'll cut it. Earlier, I tried the Holy Grail from Sanctuary, one of the medical providers here in Florida. Now I'm going to try the blackberry pomegranate. I'm actually very excited about this one. This one I have to open. It's so hard to open. Look, you get these little containers, 1/8 of flour. Oh, that smells delicious. Okay, just a little bit, because it's not a giant bowl I have here. My Gandalf, which is my very long glass pipe. I like the glass. You got to get a good thick glass so you don't break it. Cleaning's a whole other thing. Don't overpack it. Pack it loose. See, this is education, by the way. When I used to get together with people and we'd smoke weed together, we'd be like, look, don't overpack it. Don't pack it too tight. I don't use scissors. I don't use a grinder. I use my fingers. I don't want to break it up too small. I don't want it to clog up the pipe. I don't use a steel mesh or a little glass ball thing to protect the hole at the bottom of the pipe. I just loosely put it in there. Blackberry pomegranate, Sanctuary. Give me just a second. We're going to continue talking after this from our sponsor. It's not our sponsor. Whatever. Just, okay. I'm holding the lighter away from the top of the bowl so that it doesn't get as much heat, and I can taste it better on a fresh bowl. Ooh, wow. Notes of berry, but not like currant, deep. Oh, wait. And you don't have to hold it in. You know, once you inhale, it's already getting into your system very quickly. If you hold it in, it's just giving you that blood brain barrier, quick high, like, oh shit, I'm losing my balance. Don't hold it in. There's no need. You can exhale almost immediately. And this is part of the education of cannabis. When we used to get together, we would talk about these things. We would learn maybe a little better way of doing it without having to say we don't know what the hell we're doing. Maybe we'd take a hit, we'd start coughing like crazy. The reason I like is the Gandalf pipe. Actually, this is not the Gandalf. This is my Sherlock. No, it's the Gandalf because of the long pipe. The smoke has to travel a little bit so it cools. It's not as hot. Because if you have a small pipe and you're really close, that's hot, right deep, you know? But this has to travel a little bit. So as it's traveling, it's cooling down. Beautiful. And I'm getting the terpene a little different, the taste, the flavonoid, the smell. And as I'm tasting it, I have to clear my palate. Mm. Only time I really drink soda is during the show. This and when I'm coaching soccer, I drink soda. It's terrible. Soda's so bad, but I love the caffeine. I love the sugar rush. And then I hate what it does to my body later. So that's why I only do it so little now. And it's like fast food. I don't eat fast food because that's saturated fats. That's terrible fake sugar. That's things that your body cannot process. And it just as it popped into my head, I'll say a lot of people have come to me and they go, Oren, I'm just not high anymore. Like I smoke so much and I'm just not high. I mean, I'm different. I could tell I'm in a better mood. Like if I don't smoke, I'm in a bad mood. If I smoke, I'm in a good mood. I'm a little more energetic with the sativas and I could feel the indicas that bring me down. I'm like, okay. He goes, but I don't feel like it affects me the same way. Like I'm getting it the same way. I'm like, okay. Do you eat a lot of fast food? Yeah, I get, like a burger here and there. And then I get Subway. And then I get this. And then I get that. Sorry, I don't mean to be mentioning exact brands because we'd like to have some sponsors. That'd be great. So with sponsors, then we'll mention your brand, whatever. Whatever. I don't know. It's not even about that. Again, it's about reaching people and the education of this. So I don't know. That's what it's about. That's the whole thing. So when we're not in community anymore, like we were, we don't learn the same way. So we need to learn that from where we're buying, from our communities that are created either online, like maybe online communities that get together like this, through a video format to smoke together. I know what I was talking about. See, brain. Not as many brain cells as I think. But a lot of people say, look, I'm not getting high. It's about the fats in your body and how cannabis is moving through the body. So when you start changing those fats in your body to like avocado is a beautiful fat and how it processes through the body. When you start changing from bad fats to natural, good fats, wow, cannabis starts to travel through the body differently. Look, I was having that problem. For a long time, I'd smoke, and nothing. I was like, I don't get it. It used to be so high. Like when I was young, I mean, I was high. Holy shit, I've never really stopped smoking. I've always been smoking. And the older I got, the worse I was eating, the worse I was treating my body. I was on the road or I was this, I was that. And my body took the torture, took the punishment. So when I started changing the way I eat and looking at my health as a whole, when my health changed, I was starting to get higher. Like I would be like, I'd smoke one bowl and be like, oh shit, that's really good stuff. Wow. But it wasn't any better than what I was already smoking. Same shit. Just I got high. And I was like, and if you think high is like, oh, I'm stupid. I'm high. I'm this. No, I'm open. I was freer. I was more lifted. I maybe was more creative for just a short period of time. And delves into a nice mood. It brought me to a beautiful precipice and then brought me to enjoy it. So, yes, I was a little higher, a little more attuned, a little more with it, a little more happy, a little more giggly. I was giggly. That's how I know I was definitely higher because I haven't been giggly in such a long time. But my health started to improve. I was losing weight and I was getting higher. That's a great trade off. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to take another hit. It was really quite delicious. A little harsh, like not crazy smooth. But in defense of Sanctuary, I'm smoking their small buds because that's what I can afford. I told you it's about price, it's about people, it's about the education behind it. Though that's one of the stores that they may not have the education, but they have the people and they have the product. I think they're losing something in their cure or in their dry because it's a little dry. I think that's what's making it harsh on my throat because of the dryness. If they cured it a little bit nicer, if they dried it a little bit nicer, it'd be a little bit smoother, and I could taste, those deep currants and those deep berries. Um, I almost was like myrcene, you know. And then there was like a hint of lemoniness at the back end, almost flowery, but not. But I couldn't really taste that because of the harshness and how it affected my throat. So I don't know, curing and drying. So that's a good place. It's a good place. Their people are good people and they have great deals. That's why I go. So in all defense, I'm smoking their small buds, but it's a high THC and their small buds should be cured and dried the same way as their big buds are. They didn't want to put those into the big packaging. So there you go. They put them into the small packaging and small is good enough for me because I think it was like 4 for 60, 4/8 for $60. Here in Florida, that's good. It's decent for a decent bud for 20+%, and that has good smell, good terp value. You open up the container and it's just boom. If you had COVID, it would cure the COVID. Another thing to even talk about with education and understanding, THCV and CBGA. Actually, I'm not going to even say THCV because there's been some studies. It's more CBD, CBDA that's responsible. CBD in its acidic form, hence the A in front of it. That's more responsible, but it needs THC as a bonding agent and as a deterrent for people not to even catch COVID. So another conversation altogether. But again, through education, I just feel, and not stigmatization, education, not stigmatization, could have saved so many lives. Not going to get into that. I don't know why I got in trouble at one point for it, and now I see it everywhere. People talking about cannabis and COVID and da 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 da. Well, yes, and they found that it can be, you know, amazing. Not just to help a treatment for long COVID, but a treatment not to ever catch COVID or as a deterrent. I can't think of the word right now. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. As a deterrent, as a deterrent against the disease. It's a whole different word. No, I'll say it later. Anyways, I want to thank everybody. It's been a great time. This has been a very interesting podcast today. I am delighted that you've all spent this time with me. I'm sorry I didn't see any comments. Just looking again, because there aren't any. That's why I didn't. Oh, wait, there are some. Oh, I'll have to go back and look at those. Thank you for commenting, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't see it. I just start talking, and there's so much to talk about, especially in education and cannabis. This is why it's important to educate your bud tenders, because you also bring love of company, love of product to them. Remember, they're your number one asset, as well as your patient customers. Your bud tenders are also your customers. Don't forget that. Don't forget they are also your customers. And if they're not buying from you, that means you haven't reached out to them. Just saying. Look, I love the industry. I love all of you. I think you all work so hard. And I talk to the nurses, to the bud tenders, to the growers, to the scientists, to the extraction technicians, to the people packaging in the vault room, which is a terrible place. Somebody give them some windows. Look, I love all of you. You all are amazing. And you all work so hard in this industry. You all do such amazing things, not to be appreciated like you aren't. You're not, I mean, a lot of you are not appreciated. A lot of you are not paid right. A lot of you are not held up on high and said, look, these are my growers. They love the plants. Look, they're trimming. They love the plants. That's what our consumers need to see. That's what they're missing. I love this plant, but I love its healing. I love its abilities. I love the future of what we can be with education and enthusiasm. That's why I do this. So thank you for being here. And I do this for all of you. I do. I think you're all amazing. I think you all work so hard and you need to be appreciated more. There needs to be series where you're talking about what you're doing and teaching people about your extraction methods. That's what this podcast today, that's my gift back is education. My gift back is teaching the doctors about the endocannabinoid system and how it can interact with medications and patients' illnesses so that they can talk to them before they ever come to the dispensary. And then they come to that dispensary saying, look, I know more or less what I need. Help me with my solution. That gives kudos to the growers, kudos to the transport people, kudos to the bud tenders, kudos to the CEOs for thinking about the people, which in turn will more than take care of his bottom line. Those are the companies that last, that have longevity, that make money, that see the big picture. That's the gift back through education. We're educating people about your product that you create. So I thank you all for being here. This has just been amazing. I'm thanking you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be back next Wednesday. Live and empowered. Live and empowered. High and empowered. Next Wednesday, 12 o'clock on LinkedIn. But we also come to you from other places. You can find us on the YouTube, the Facebookie, the Insta Cha-Cha, the Tiki-Taki. Actually, I don't know if you can find the Twitch. I think Twitch. And there's another one with a D that I keep forgetting. I don't know. Like Duolingo, but that's not it. That's like a language app. We come to you from, we will be coming to you from many places. And you will find me in all these places. And I'm still going to be coming to you because about education. Oh, and I do want to let you know, big, huge news. 420 this year, I'm going to be coming to you from Denver, Colorado. On the 19th, we're going to be doing video. I'm going to try for some live, but if I can't do live, that's okay. I'm going to take the videos and post it shortly after, maybe that evening, of some grow houses, some secret locations. We're going to be talking to some powerhouses. Wow. And just a great brand, even, Starbuds in Colorado, great company overall that showcases them. Standing Akimbo, which is the medical side, and with Starbuds being more the recreational, but wow, such cool stuff. So I'll be there 420, and we're going to be coming to you on the 20th, right? It's 420, the 19th, secret places. On the 20th, we're going to be coming to you from the Red Rocks Amphitheater. There's a huge concert with Wiz Khalifa, the Flatbush. So I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm so sorry, guys, but huge concert. DJ Bonix. I don't know. I have to look at something that shows me this, but there's so much going on, and it's such an iconic place. I want people to see it live. I want them to have a backstage pass. We're going to be talking to the stars, to the artists before they go up, after they come down from performing. The goal is to get everybody incredibly high and talk. Just let's get high and empowered. That's exactly it. So 420, we're getting high and empowered with some incredible artists, hopefully, backstage at the Red Rocks Amphitheater. We are educating, we are rapping, we are creating, we are manifesting, we are becoming high and empowered. Okay, I can go on forever. Look, you'd be surprised. I can always talk. I have to cut myself off. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. That's all. I'll see you next Wednesday. Let's keep it exciting. Keep it amazing. Do incredible things because that's what you're capable of. And incredible is whatever you want it to be. But nothing holds you back but you. Be amazing, everybody. High and empowered. I'm done. Actually, I'd be done if I could find the button. I'm doing it from the phone. I can't find the button. It's here. It's here. Everybody be amazing. Bye. Bye.